We answer your questions here on Titans Today. Welcome in. I'm your host, Jay Sanders, and I asked you on the YouTube community page to ask me some questions about the Tennessee Titans and, well, to be quite honest with you, what exactly to do with this team sitting at a very pitiful 3-7 record and really not looking good. So without further ado, let's dive into some of your questions, with the first one coming from Phil Watson saying, should the Titans address the O-line in free agency or via the draft in 2024? Draft question, do the Titans go wide receiver / tight end if Alt or Fashanu are off the board, or do they try and take Talisi Fuaga? Well, I'm going to say this. With the current record, I'm going to say draft for the simple fact of, well, there's not many free agent offensive linemen you're going to go out and get, and on top of which, you're not really looking like you're going to make a playoff run. So it's just time to wait, at least right now. Now, in terms of free agency in the offseason, I think it's probably free agency plus draft. You got to try and figure out something. You drafted Skoronski this past year. He's starting to fill in a role a little better each week, but we'll have to see. The three linemen you mentioned there, let's kind of take a look at that. Olu Fashanu, Joe Alt, the Notre Dame guy, and then Talisa Fuaga. Yeah, that one's a tough one right there. So Fashanu and Alt are going to be I'm going to say main priority offensive linemen in this year's draft. And then Fuaga is more of 1B. Like, it's 1A and 1A for Alt and Fashanu, and Fuaga is 1B. I think he's probably close to as good as Fashanu and Alt. It's just that Notre Dame, Penn State, bigger careers, and honestly, they've just are bigger guys, to be a little bit quite frank with you. I like both of them, but here's the thing. I think you have to go offensive line in this draft. I know you asked if they don't get Alt, if they don't get Fashanu, would they go wide receiver? Would they go tight end? I quite honestly don't think so, just because, well, you need offensive line help, and if they're off the board, then I think Fuaga is your best choice. Now, why exactly do they need to get a O-lineman? Well, you got Skoronski, and the sacks didn't really go down. In fact, they kind of went up. In terms of sacks allowed in the NFL, the Giants are way and far above anybody else at 63, Commanders at 51, Jets 40, Panthers 39. So the Titans right there sitting at 5th, allowing 35 sacks this season. Listen, you got to get an O-lineman here. It's just not good. Honestly, not good pass blocking, not good run blocking. Overall, just really lackluster play on the offensive line as a complete unit. So I like this question, though, and I think I want to ask this to the rest of the Titan fan base. Should the Titans draft an offensive lineman, or do you think that it should be a skill position, say like a tight end, like a wide receiver, like you mentioned? If you think it should be O-line due to the issues and you need to keep trying working there to try and build up this team from there before you start getting skill positions, then type O for O-lineman. Or if you think, no, we just need to start getting skill positions and then we can work on the O-line, there will be guys we can get from the offensive line perspective in the 3rd, 4th round. Well, in that case, type S for skill position. I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. Second question here coming in from the Titans Rundown. And he asks, why have we not started Jaelyn Duncan at left tackle? Well, it's funny you mentioned that because the rookie really hasn't gotten much play out of Western Maryland. And, well, now you finally get a chance to play him because, well, the Maryland product is going to fill in for Chris Hubbard, as Hubbard, well, he is out for the entirety of the season, and it was announced that Jaelyn Duncan will be the one to fill in for Hubbard. Now, will we see him at full strength? Probably not. I more or less expect him to kind of be a play here, a play there type guy. Now, are we going to maybe see him grow into a role where we could see him be the everyday starter at left tackle or right tackle? Well, yes, but as for now, it's more or less, I'm going to fill in for injuries. I'm going to try and honestly be the glue on this offensive line, try and put things back together and protect Will Levis. You should protect yourself by going and get some entries on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America, and it's the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Make sure you check it out at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. You got Thursday Thanksgiving football tomorrow, and you have got a free win on one entry. Christian McCaffrey, a half rushing and receiving yards. He's going to get that and probably play number 1 or 2 on offense. I'm telling you, that's a free entry right there. Now, the other two, I like these picks. Jahmyr Gibbs, 45.5 rushing yards. I'm going on the more on that one just because, well, Montgomery's projection is 65.5. They're splitting reps, and Jahmyr is really shifty. I think he can get it done against a Green Bay defense that has been subpar this year. And then Juwan Jennings. Seattle's defense has been pretty good, but you're going to have to cover guys like Deebo Samuel. You're going to have to cover guys like Brandon Ayuk. You're going to have to worry about CMC. Juwan Jennings is going to get lost in the sauce. 5 of the 10 games, he has gotten over 15.5 receiving yards. You can put that down for this game as well. Prize Picks is absolutely the most exciting way to play DFS. And if you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts, just like that CMC one. You got 0.5 there on the rushing and receiving yards. They also have things like Taco Tuesday, where each Tuesday Prize Picks will discount a select player's projection up to 25% to provide more value. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Shout out Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. Okay, so Chris Hubbard mentioned how he's going to be out for the season. This one actually was reported yesterday by Jeremy Fowler as, listen, a 10-year vet for Tennessee. And that's exactly why Jaelyn Duncan is going to be able to get on the field. Now, it sucks because it's a bicep injury, and it's a guy that was really the best offensive lineman that you had in terms of veteran, PFF grade, run blocking. Overall, was just the guy that, I'm not going to say it, held this line together. So we go back to Duncan here as he is going to be filling in, and it's a rookie position. Like I said, it's not going to be one of those where you're making a rep every single play. But what you will see from Duncan is the chance to grow. And with a 3-7 record, well, that's exactly what you want because it's no choice. You are forced to play now. It's not like, well, we can just maybe not play him. Well, now you have to with the injuries to the offensive line. I'm excited to see what the Rook can do. Next question here comes from Marcus Cox saying, did Fulton deserve to be benched after Avery gave up almost the same amount of yards and touchdowns as him? No, but here's the thing. It wasn't just that he gave up more yards. It wasn't just that he gave up more touchdowns. It was more than just bad play. I say may have more because, well, we don't know the official talk about it, but there was this tweet from Paul Karofsky saying that Kristian Fulton actually got pulled as some coach's decision. Now, Mike Vrabel didn't really get into it in his press conference, but he said, getting beat is one thing. There was some other reasons Kristian and I talked about. That doesn't seem too good, to be quite honest with you. I don't really like what we've seen from Kristian Fulton this year, and if there's problems outside of the play, I don't really like that. I will say, though, I'm wishing the best to Kristian Fulton and his family. His grandfather or grandmother passed away yesterday, and I do wish the best for him, obviously. Hopefully he's back at practice soon, was excused the past 2 days. So wishing the best to Fulton and his family. Hope he comes back and is feeling that better. All right, this question here from JB Games saying, why is it that when we are in the red zone, we can't score touchdowns? Is it a lack of talent or is it play calling? Well, you hit the nose on the head there with scoring in the red zone because, well, they're exactly not the greatest. Now, lack of talent, play calling, I don't exactly know which one it is, to be quite honest with you, but I will say this. Lack of talent and bad play calling combined probably are a factor into this. Now, is it the reason that this is happening? Well, not exactly. But here's the main thing that I want to look at. Will Levis is pretty inexperienced. You have an offensive line that is allowing a ton of sacks, and ultimately you're getting pushed out of the red zone a lot. So it's kind of tough to blame this on the coaching staff, but with that being said, I do want to bring up this question just because there's been comments on videos, there's been comments on live streams, and there's been talk all over Twitter about this Titans coaching staff. Do you trust them? Do you believe that they can actually coach this team to victory? I know there's been questions about Tim Kelly. There's been questions about Mike Vrabel even. I want you to let me know if you trust this coaching staff. Type Y for yes if you do. Type in for no if you do not. What do you believe about this coaching staff? Can they get the job done in Tennessee once they hopefully get a little bit of better players? So that red zone touchdown percentage, what exactly is it? Well, it's not good is what I will tell you because, listen, if you look at the percentages across the board in the NFL, Jets have a 26.1% with Zach Wilson. That maybe will change. We'll see. Titans at 34.5%, and the Giants, Buccaneers, Jaguars all round out there. Those aren't good teams besides the Jaguars. Don't really know why they're down there. But the Titans kind of fit in with the Giants and Jets at this point, which kind of sucks. 34.5% is not good. But I think this goes back to my original point of just the offensive line and the experience on this team, or rather maybe lack thereof as the inexperience on this team. It just isn't exactly the greatest thing. So why am I saying O-line? Why am I saying inexperience? Well, you have Will Levis, who is still young, is still trying to figure out when do I throw the ball, when do I throw it away, all this stuff. And you have an offensive line that isn't exactly blocking the best for him. That kind of creates issues because once you get in the red zone, it's going to be, okay, can we score, or are we going to get sacked and getting taken out of field goal range, getting out of touchdown range? That's kind of what it's been over the past couple weeks. Next question and last question comes in from the GOAT123, and this kind of goes off the trusting the coaching staff. Should Mike Vrabel be fired? And I think the question, or rather the answer to this question is simple. No. It's more players than coaches. Like, is the coaching great? No. But is it at the same time, like, the players aren't great either? Well, that's also correct. You've got a rookie quarterback, a defense that's struggling and injury-prone, an offensive line that doesn't know how to block. Overall, I think if this coaching staff had better players, I've liked some play designs from Tim Kelly. He's had some good play calls. Have they all been good? No, but that's also partially, in fact, the offensive line he's working with. Unfortunate, but it's not the players, or rather the coach's fault. It's just kind of what the hand they were dealt with right now. I'm willing to kind of wait this out and see what they can do with hopefully some better players in free agency in the draft. You have a lot of money to spend. We appreciate you watching, Titans fans. Make sure you're subscribed, and if you want to be on a future Titans Watch Party, Titans Mailbag video just like this one, well, then make sure you're subscribed and watch out for that community tab. We're posting little things in there where you can be a part of shows just like this every couple of weeks. We appreciate you, and as always, tighten up.